the Lakers are going to play the Timberwolves. I'm very excited about this. Let me tell you why. I'm just going to do a little tiny, incy-mincy little mini rant here. And it's a mini rant about Ant. We're back, guys. We're back. Everybody get back on board the Anthony Ed hype train because I am completely not thrown off by how he was unceremoniously booted from the playoffs last year by none other than the Lakers star, no longer Mavericks star, but now Lakers star, Luca Dončić. He talked his shit. He hit his shots. I don't know. I know you guys have. You guys are all experts. That's why we're here on the podcast talking about this. Yeah, you all have next level basketball IQ. But if you're John Joe Public, you may not know Anthony Edwards is putting up historic shooting numbers this year, like actual historic shooting numbers. That's right. You heard that correctly. Shooting numbers. The athlete, the number 1 overall pick out of Georgia, is putting out crazy shooting numbers way ahead of schedule. Cast your mind back to the last guy you remember doing that way ahead of schedule. He plays for the Boston Celtics. His name is Jason Tatum. He somehow has decided, despite being an athlete and despite being the age that he is, it has become a volume 3-point shooter, and a shitload of those are going in. If I told you guys, if I asked you guys, who do you think has more makes in threes this year, Steph Curry or Anthony Edwards? Without answering, because I'm obviously giving away the the answer here, because I've asked it to myself. The answer is Anthony Edwards. The man's lights out. He's now got all the stuff. This has all the makings of a fucking electric series of basketball. Electric series of basketball. The Lakers are resurging. I will sit and I will hear all counterpoints that I'm sure you guys are going to make about what this Lakers team is looking like. Ray, you're always very conscientious about our old enemy. Like you'll never sleep on that team. You were almost the least surprised when they put all that crazy stuff together and became relevant again with LeBron at 40. And I'll hear all of it, but I gotta say, I think Anthony Edwards is the most exciting player in basketball right now. He's the funnest to watch. I'm really excited to watch him do his thing and show a bunch of people that haven't been paying attention all year what he's added to his game, which is a jump shot. Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a useful thing. It's a pretty useful thing to add to your game in the game of basketball. So, and he's still a freak athlete. So, talk me off the ledge, someone. Am I setting myself up for disappointment with all this Lakers juju that's been happening? There is a glow over there. I understand. They've been shining out of the West again. Bat signal up in the sky. Ray, am I crazy?
No, because I mean, Ant Edwards has been phenomenal. I think he ended with 323s.
Oh yeah, that's a sexy number.
Malik Beasley had the record, and then he needed 7.
Who I also think is great, by the way.
Yeah, well, no, I mean he is someone that we talked about wanting to come here. Like we wanted him to come off the bench for us. So he's been a great find for the trade. We'll talk about him later on when we get to the Eastern Conference playoffs. But the issue is not Anthony Edwards showing up because we've seen that happen. It's will the other guys raise their play come playoff time? Julius Randle sometimes has an APB out for him from playoff time. Rudy Gobert also has an APB out sometimes for him in playoffs.
Rudy Gobert sucks. I'm on the record for that.
Well, right, no, I'm saying so. It's just like, so can the others raise their play to where Anthony Edwards is? So what you're going to give him in now because he's beginning to prove that. Fine, that's great, but you need DiVincenzo to raise his way. But I think DiVincenzo was awesome in last year's playoffs, so I think that he's going to be fine.
Agreed.
But once again, you don't know from Randall, you don't know from Gobert, you don't know about Nickeil Walker-Alexander. So there's a lot of what
Julius Randle I really think is the X factor here. I really think that's the best shout.
He has to do something. He has to do something that he hasn't done come playoff time. I mean, has played consistent basketball. Once again, he's been a regular season, merchant, which is a new term they've been using. That's what he's been, and it's not a knock on him because once again, he's talented. But he just hasn't been where he needed to be come the postseason. So, and that's going to be hard because you're going to need all those guys to step up against this Laker team because, like I said, they have figured it out to an extent since his getting Luca. So if those guys don't raise their play, then they won't get the result that they're looking for.
Yeah, can I just make one point about Julius Randle, though, why I think he might be the one to step up, because I think it's a great shout by you. He's not in New York anymore. He's not getting ran into the fucking ground for no reason in the regular season, playing every single minute of every single game. So there maybe is a chance with a little managed minutes that he could actually be fresh for the postseason.
That's possible.
Just throwing that out there.
I think that that's possible. I think, but with him, it's just more so of the mindset. Um,
Or you
he
think he's just
helped.
a bitch? I mean, I'll take that on board.
Well, no. We ain't never going that far. Calling another man that, but I just think that there's some things where um he does become a mental midget in some sense. It hinders what he's able to do. Because once again,
You'll
he
call
should
him a
be.
bitch, but you'll call him a mental midget.
This is gonna say,
It's hilarious. It's hilarious.
the
What's
difference is
cool
very
and
mediocre.
what's
Yeah.
not
between the two,
cool
right?
in your
Yeah.
personal. I was just trying to think, like, what would I rather be called? Honestly,
You know,
I actually, it's
I would not
definitely,
want
I'd
to.
rather be called
I
mental
would
midget,
not
but
want to be
it's
called a
not
bitch.
that far off.
Yeah, it's more PC. How about that?
Yeah, fair
But
enough.
maybe,
I think that
we
ship
can't
has
say
sailed.
more too much. But but needless to say, I just think that, like I said, he's come up short, and it's hard. It's hard to see or hard to think that he's going to, buck that trend in this playoff. Once again, hopefully he does for their sake, but I just don't see I don't see a path where that happens.
Mike,
It's
for
fun.
the sake of parity, I'm wondering if you could offer an opinion, just going against what sucks about the Minnesota Timberwolves and going against Anthony Edwards. Is there something to do with the Los Angeles Lakers, Luca Dončić, Austin Reaves, like all that bright spot? Do you think that they actually just might be too much for this T Wolves team? Like, is the simplest explanation the one
Yeah.
that might be true?
Yeah. I mean, I think that to your point, it's the Timberwolves just may not have enough to get back because Ant's going to cancel out either Luke or LeBron. But then, to your point, you need Randall to step up. You need all
It
those
has to
other
be
parts
Luca.
because
It has to be Luca
right,
who he like
sure,
beats across the series.
yeah, 100%. And I always worry about, especially in these early rounds, like anyone that's going to try and defend LeBron, in the paint, like they're liable to foul out here pretty quickly because the NBA has always been pretty clear that they want LeBron in the conference
Oh
finals
yeah,
at
good
least.
point. Think about that
The
part.
one the one thing that I'll say is we have Anthony Edwards, and I think there was that running joke last year that he could be MJ's kid. I mean, if there's any chance to prove it,
I'm not
it's to
laughing.
eliminate.
I mean, even if he isn't, he is.
It's to
That's-
it's to eliminate. I mean, there's nothing more that I would love to do than to beat the Lakers in the NBA Finals. Second to that is to have this super Laker team get eliminated in the first round. So I'm rooting for the Timberwolves, of course, but I just think Lakers have too much.
I agree that like beating the Lakers in the NBA Finals would be awesome, but I would be a basket case. I have to tell you, like it's been a long time since we've been matched up with them in the finals, and the last time we fucking lost. And I honestly, like, my mental health is not in a good place. But
Well, Green's not walking through that door, DK. You're fine.
I know, dude. Fucking hell, fucking just like can't just rebound the
What
basketball.
what's,
Just
what's
rebound.
great?
For the
He's still in the
entire fourth
playoffs.
quarter.
I
For the
know.
entire fourth quarter.
Oh my god, it was crazy. It was crazy to watch.
Right.
It was actually that's game 7 was some of the worst basketball I think I've ever seen by two good teams. Like that was crazy how bad that basketball was. People are like, I missed that era. I'm like, watch the 2010 finals game 7. It's like we literally just tripped over ourselves to lose that shit. Anyway, we're not going down that road again. We've been there too many times before. Well trod. Bob, we've kind of seen both angles here. We're looking at this holistically. We're looking at it from a three-dimensional point of view. We're trying to expand our mind into the universe. So think Carl Sagan about it. What's the funnest way this series goes so we can start heading into Predictionville? What would you love to see happen? At just an absolute barn burner every single game where it just Luca and Ant just go back and forth? Do we want to see vintage LeBron? Do we like just try not to think of it from a Celtics fan's perspective? What kind of highlights are you looking for, and how do you see this series going realistically on top of that?
So of course we want to see vintage LeBron. Everyone always wants to, as an NBA fan, as a basketball fan, you want to see that. You know what I mean? Especially in the
No,
playoffs.
fuck him.
Of course you don't. But I want to go back to what Ray was saying before when he talked about DiVincenzo. I think he's probably one of the biggest X factors in this entire series, and I think he can make such a big difference. You saw what he did in the playoffs last year. He carried a broken down Knicks team to the semifinals, and you know what I mean. He was their best player on that court, so I think he's someone to definitely look out for. Another thing is Minnesota has size and length like crazy. Gobert, Randall, someone we
Even
haven't even
even
mentioned.
missing Towns, they are not, like they still have the ability to be like long. So I think that was really smart in the way they orchestrated that trade because we're mentioning guys they got and not really lamenting the absence of length. So it's a
Well,
really good point.
and they still have Nas Reed too coming off the bench. He was what 7 feet tall and is a
Uh,
knockdown shooter too.
He's
Um,
awesome.
so
Yeah.
that's definitely a reason I could see them winning this series. I still think the Lakers do win this series. That's going to be a tough struggle for them because all the Lakers have is Jackson Hayes to stop those three guys down low. It's going to be pretty tough for them to do that. Jackson Hayes is not something to write home about as your starting center. So it's going to be tough to try and defend Gobert, Reed, and Randall with Jackson Hayes.
It's a fair point. It's a perfect segue also into your prediction. So tell me, team and number.
Saying all that, I think it's Lakers in 7. I think this is going to be an amazing series. I think we're in for a hell of a first round in the Western Conference because I think we're going to have a few series that go 7, and this is definitely going to be one of them. Lakers in 7.
Oh man, Bobby's just doing basketball boners tonight. I love it. It's vintage MTP. We're doing big basketball boners here at MTP. It's a alliterative and initial podcast. Mike, your prediction and your team to do it in that number.
To paraphrase a Hall of Famer, Shannon Sharp, that's on national television. I don't care if it's in Minnesota, North Dakota, if they drive a Toyota, Timberwolves in 5.
Oh wow, paraphrase. Change the name of the team. I love that. You really got me. You really led me down the garden path there, Mike. I really enjoyed that. I fully expected you to say Lakers because of the man you're quoting. Wow. Let's all just like soak that in. That was really great, Mike. That was a really great little pirouette. Good solo ball right there. Mike got his man on an island, and he just dropped a shot down Ray. Follow that prediction and team, please.
I can't, but what I will say is going to be Lakers in 6.
Wow.
All over me.
No, I just once again, but he foreshadowed how I felt when he gave the opening to this series. He knows my respect for 23. Until he says I'm out and I'm done. I'm not, especially in the first round. I'm not going against. No way. Not in the first round anyway. Maybe the second or conference finals. Maybe not now. He's no way. And we saw what Luca did against Ant last year too. I don't want to dismiss that. And I hope that Anthony takes the challenge because he better. And he's that kind of a competitor, so I don't doubt that he will. But if Mike Conley or anyone else is ever on Luca Dončić, look out.
Yeah.
Say that.
Yeah.
Look out.
There are some matchup nightmares around the court. I agree.
There's no way. Yeah. So yeah, Lakers in 6.
Well, yeah. I mean, well, let's just split it right down the middle. I'm obviously taking the T-Wolves. I'm not going to bury the lead. That was a foregone conclusion considering Anthony Edwards is my favorite player ever. I think for the exact same reason Ray chose the Lakers. I think it is time for LeBron to pass the torch. And if he's not going to pass it willingly, as Ray says, Ant's going to come fucking snap that. He's going to snatch it right from him. And that's what I need to see. That's what I need to see from my guy. And I've just seen a lot that I liked over the course of the regular season as far as what he's added to his game. And I'm just really still holding all that Anthony Edwards stock, which I know is, it's not an insider trade. You don't have to be a fucking genius to be holding Anthony Edwards stock. But I really think it's going to go up and up and up. I'm very optimistic. I'm bullish, which is the only thing you can be bullish about in today's day and age. If you're bullish about the stock market, I might give your head a wobble